Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Aging Games podcast. I'm so excited. Today, I've got Kathleen Horstmeyer here, and I got to know Kathleen through the Institute of Applied Quantum Biology, where I studied last year, and she's one of the directors. And every time I saw her face come up on our Zoom meetings and everything, it was just this beautiful smile. And she is like literally one of the smartest women that I've ever met. No, it's true. It's true. It's true. So I can't wait to pick her brain. And Kathleen, thank you so, so much for being here. So nice to have you.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. I don't know about any of those accolades there,
That's
but
true.
that's very kind.
Kathleen, for those who might not know who you are, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do?
Yeah. Yeah. So real fast is I started out many years ago as a respiratory therapist and, was into the trauma scene of flying around with people that were in critical condition. And I ended up meeting a top vascular surgeon at University of Washington, and he invited me to become part of a research team for vascular ultrasound, which was at that time just starting, and he is actually the godfather of that. So it was an incredible opportunity that I took him up on. And then I also got invited to Scripps Research Clinic with Dr. Eugene Bernstein. So two of the greatest. And it was just, a gift, total gift. And that ended up launching a new career for me into vascular diagnostics. So for 25 years, I did vascular diagnostics training cardiologists and vascular surgeons on how to read those blood flow studies, and then I also read for them in the hospital. So I was a physician extender for that, and then along the way, in the allopathic, especially hospital medicine, I was seeing some big changes and I got more and more drawn to natural medicine. So I did go back to school and got my traditional naturopathic doctorate. And my husband and I started a holistic clinic at our home and then a retreat center as well. And we saw some amazing things. We had clients that only we were some of them were we were the last resort. They had been turned away by traditional medicine, that there's nothing left you can do, go home and prepare to die. And so we saw a lot of things that the traditional medicine doesn't see, and we also saw how natural things can really move the needle. So we got to blend both of those. My husband's a medical doctor and a dentist, and so we came, kind of loaded up with probably way too much knowledge. And what we can say over the years is the simpler the better,
Mhm.
and that really the answers we should go to initially are already provided, and they're out in nature and they're free. So that's kind of the short story. And then I did meet Meredith Oak, who is the director, the founder of the Institute of Applied Quantum Biology, and I helped them, get credentialed and then a board certification. And I just it opened a whole new world for me. I just became so passionate about it, and it was like everybody needs to know this. Which is all about, as you know, Lynn, going through it, light, water, and magnetism, with the emphasis on light and, well, the emphasis is on everything, but those three
Mhm.
things in particular. And it's so amazing to me that we're so quick to be brainiacs and go down the road of medication and everything besides what the body naturally does. So, anyway, I've had just a fantastic ride and career, and it's turned at, right angles multiple times, and it's just been, a wonderful, wonderful experience.
It's quite a big leap from allopathic medicine to quantum biology, but we see so many people that have done that. And
Yeah,
I think once you start learning about quantum biology, there's just no going back. And
no,
in my experience too, for me, it was always about exercise, diet, and supplements. And that's it. You don't need anything else. Once you have those covered, you're done. And
yeah,
when you study quantum biology, you're like, that all
yeah,
of those things don't
yeah,
matter until you have the foundation set.
yes, yes. And the foundation, being I call it our operating system.
Mhm.
The light, we're light beings. And so to disregard light and think that we're going to fix things, and no disregard to food. Food's great, exercise is great, but if you don't have your light right, it
It's not
where
enough.
you get it, it's not enough, and you can pack and pack and pack and pack on top. But if that operating system, you don't have that part right, you just you're not going to go the distance, and you're not going to get what you really could get from those other things.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's just it's so fascinating once you go down that rabbit hole.
It is. And you see
Yeah,
people all the time. And now we understand why they failed because people come to you and they'll
yeah,
say, look, I'm doing everything right. I'm exercising, I'm dieting, I'm doing the keto diet, carnivore diet, whatever, right? Vegan diet, but I'm still feel like crap. I'm still not
yeah,
sleeping well. Menopausal symptoms are out of this world and people are still complaining. And you start to think like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Like, what am I doing wrong? And then when you realize that it all begins with light, and then everything
yes,
changes.
yes. And yeah, and then we're also seeing all these children. I started seeing, and this has now been 15 years ago, I was
Mhm.
starting to see children with diseases that I hadn't seen, that shows up in your maybe 60s, 70s, 80s. I was seeing them in 10 and 15-year-old children. And I remember thinking and talking to my husband, like, what is going on here? This is so bizarre. And we did not, of course, put it together then. And we had, some great successes and with natural, things. And we, but one of the things that we did have, we had a saltwater pool that we put people
Oh,
in. Of course,
nice.
and get out in the sun because that was in Indiana and is not like you, and well, actually in the cold too.
Hmm.
But we didn't have that, what actual sunlight does. And the other thing we didn't have was what light at night does.
Hmm. So let's talk
And
about that. Let's talk about sunlight first. Why sunlight is important.
well, that sunlight is what originated everything. So light, if we don't have the light right, sunlight hitting our skin sets off a cascade of everything. And beginning with light in our eyes in the morning or anytime, but light in the eyes triggers multiple things in your body. And so if you consider that what the frequency of light that comes into my eyes and tells my body, it dispenses all throughout my body what to do and when based on those frequencies, and then you're not going outside. You're not going outside. We're the only thing we really know about, we think about the sun, going out in the sun is to get a tan,
Hmm.
which is great,
Yeah.
but it does so much more than that. And then the whole system of that has been put upon people of the fear of the sun, and
Where
we've
do you
been
think that comes from?
Uh-oh. I think it comes from a monetary dominated system that really isn't out to help you.
And once you realize that, then you
Yeah.
realize it's all lies, everything
It,
we've ever been told.
yeah, it's a psyop. The whole thing
It is.
is a story, and I realize how that sounds to people who haven't heard that. It's like, oh, you're a conspiracy, oh, call me whatever.
Yeah.
But I've been in that system, and I've been out of that system,
Mm.
and I've seen what in and out of it does. Now, and don't get me wrong, if I was in a car crash and broke my leg, my arm, I'm going to go to the hospital. I'm going to get my, cast
Yes.
and all of that. There's a place for the system, and but the overarching wellness plan, like banning sunlight, like they're, spraying stuff in the skies to decrease the light to reflect the sun away from us, and telling us to put sunglasses on if we're ever outside, and if you are, cover all up, put sunglasses on. And if you just stop and think about that the entire, however long you want to believe the world has been here and mankind has been on it, we have evolved in sunlight. So
That's nice.
how did that happen? I mean, just
Hmm.
and but we have gotten also, I think, trained to listen to other people, the so-called experts, to tell us what's best. And we've forgotten who we are.
And all
That
those
we,
experts are on the Epstein list now
yeah,
that we were
and
listening to, even in the
and
natural health realm.
and many other lists. Yes,
Anyone that had a
yes,
huge platform, they're on the
yes,
list. So
yes,
and these are the
yeah,
people that we're taking our health advice from, which is
yes.
really, really sad.
So just even if we're forgetting all the, I mean, there's so much evidence about what we're talking about, but even forget all of that, how how do you think grass grows? A tree grows? Just the basics. And and then if you think, oh, well, we're another living entity, another living being, and but we're supposed to hide from that because it's bad and it's going to make us sick and it's going to give us cancer and we're going to, although it's just absurd. It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
And sometimes I see babies on the beach completely slathered um,
Poison.
with the
Yeah.
poison, yeah. And with the hat on, with sunglasses on, like on babies. And then they've got these long sleeves on to keep them covered, like completely shield, or when they're walking them. And then they cover the stroller, they cover it with like a blanket or something, so no sun touches your baby.
Yeah.
And I want to
Yeah.
go like, I want to shake you, like, what are you
Oh, I
doing?
know. I know. It sometimes when I see it now, I mean, it literally makes me cry because
I
I
know.
I know they just don't know, and they're operating on, the information that they have. That's why for you and I to educate people on just just think about this from the very basics.
Yeah.
How did anything come about here
Yeah.
and live and survive? If the sun is so bad, then why, how did we ever make it? I mean, it's just nuts.
And all ancient civilizations, they worshiped the sun. It was their god.
Yeah, like
They
they
knew,
knew.
of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. They knew what was providing energy for their body.
Yes.
So it's, and then, as we've learned in quantum biology, what all that's happening with light in the mitochondria, and that that light moves the electrons through the electron transport chain, not just to make ATP, which is what we've all been
Yeah.
taught, that ATP is the current thing. And I'm not, no shade on that. ATP is important. I love it. Thank God for it. But there's also water that's made. And Dr. Pollock out of the University of Washington, yay, alma mater, also discovered, and this is a while back now, that water also becomes a battery, like the positive and the negative. It takes the negative charged particles on one side and then the positive on the other, and that creates a battery. And suspect is, and it's not really suspect anymore, but that is actually what's powering our bodies. And the sunlight organizes that. Sunlight on our skin, in our eye, that's organizing that for us. So no wonder nobody has energy and they're sick and all these things that are happening. And then on top of that is this overexposure of blue light. And now I know these children that I cared for years back, they were people put iPads, they were the iPad babies.
Yeah.
And I remember even, not even knowing about that, but seeing that at the grocery store, and people would have an iPad propped up on their baby to, babies
I know.
to play with and to keep them occupied so that they wouldn't really, so they wouldn't have to interact with them and they wouldn't fuss and they wouldn't do what babies do, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Just so the onslaught of all of that is being exposed. And there is such an encouraging turn of events happening with the world. And it's quite exciting. And another just amazing thing that I have found, and Lynn, I know that you have experienced it as well, is I've come across a company called LifeWave, and they have made, in fact, here I have a
Right.
little,
No, sorry, that's mine. Yeah, I've got it here on my desk
yeah,
too.
they have
Yeah.
a patch, and no, and the inventor and CEO of that company, David Schmidt. Oh yeah, there you go.
I've got them here on my desk.
He is the most brilliant person I've ever met, and I believe, has really been touched by God in designing this. And what he has done is made this little circle, the white circle inside. I don't know if you can see, but on the
Uh-huh.
outer edge is some adhesive, and then inside is a crystalline lattice made of amino acid, salt, sugars, stabilized oxygen, water. And it's organized in such a way, particular to each patch. There's 10 different kinds of patches. But here's the just mind-blowing part. It's powered by your infrared light of your body. So you become your own light device, and your infrared light comes up and heats this center patch, which then reflects back into your body, onto your skin, a frequency particular to whatever patch that is, and that signals the body to make a particular peptide. And the biggest patch, or not biggest, but the most profound patch is called an X39 patch. and be that's because David spent 10 years studying stem cells. There you go. Yeah, yeah. And several million dollars to discover how he could formulate inside of here that when our infrared light heats that or powers that patch, the signal that comes back to our body is a signal that tells our body to make a peptide called GHKCU. It's a copper peptide, and that's natural to our body. We naturally make that ourselves. So it's not, and what that peptide does, oh boy, it's infinite what it does. Just look it up. But it resets over 4,000 genes. In fact, I think it's closer to about 43, 4,500 genes
Wow.
back yeah, yeah, exactly. And exercise that resets your gene about I think 50 genes, 17 genes, something like that.
Mhm.
Red wine, resveratrol, that resets up to 2 genes. But this GHK copper peptide resets over 4,000. And one of those is a gene that upregulates pluripotent stem cells. And that's just a fancy word for a stem cell that can become anything.
Uh-huh.
And so and stem cells, by the way, are how we stay young and how we repair. It's by age 30, we've lost about 50 to 60% of our stem cell activation. They're still there, but they're dormant. It's like they retire early. And then by the age 60, depending upon how we've lived, we're down 70 to 90% of our stem cells.
Wow.
So you really start seeing aging and disease starts coming on. And by age 80, we have 0 to 5%, which is why when people in their 80s, if they fall and they break a hip, they don't recover.
Yeah.
Or if they get the flu, they die from it because they don't have the stem cells to recover. Stem cells go in and rejuvenate the area or of the body that is being harmed.
Hmm.
So this GHK copper peptide being signaled to increase in our body by it's our own body. No, there's no injection. We're not taking something, but our own body gets the signal and says, hey, let's make some GHK copper peptide. That copper peptide then in turn one of the many things that it does is stimulates those stem cells we already have. They're just not working to come back online. And oh my gosh, Lynn, not just come back online, but they come back. Like if I'm 60, they'll come back at the age of 50 or 40. They come back a third of your age younger.
Wow. I haven't even heard that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
It's
is there a
amazing.
way to measure this? Are there any tests or anything?
I'm sure my answer is I don't know, but I'm sure that I couldn't tell you what the test is.
Hmm.
But yeah, you can measure the age of your stem cells. And I
Hmm.
can't tell you what
Yeah.
the test
And
name
even the
is.
telomeres, you can measure the length of
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
and I'm sure that
yeah.
that would affect the
Yep. And
length of
that
the telomeres.
and that also lengthens your telomeres, which also a couple of the patches do, like Alavita,
Hmm.
the skin and brain patch
Yeah.
lengthens telomeres. But so those cells, those stem cells are coming back, and they're coming back a third of your age younger
Wow.
to your rescue. And then of course, it's not you know, a fix it, like just put a patch on and forget what you eat and don't get out in the
Mhm.
sun and all that. You still are, being responsible to get out, have a circadian rhythm, and you're getting the light, you're drinking the good water, you're eating the good food, you're exercising, all of that. It doesn't replace that. But this is, and I've been around a while now. I'm coming up on, I'm close approaching 68. So
No way.
yeah, baby.
No way.
Yeah. And and I've been in the healthcare system since I was 19. That's a long time. So I have seen a lot of things and amazing things. And
Hmm.
I've also um, seen some amazing, natural medicine health stuff.
Hmm.
But I will tell you,
At your clinic, you guys actually had everything, like all
oh
the
yeah,
latest gadgets and
we
machines.
had all the big guns. Yeah,
Yeah,
we had all the big guns. And not to say those things aren't helpful and great too, but I will tell you, I've never seen anything work like this little guy, which,
amazing.
is mind-blowing.
It's
It just
absolutely mind-blowing. I'm
it
like
is.
you, I have all the expensive gadgets and everything,
Yeah.
and I love
Yeah.
working with different devices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But most people cannot even, don't even have, they don't have that option to buy
Right.
expensive things.
100%.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this is so simple, and anyone can do it. Anyone can use it. Anyone can afford it. I mean, it's the price of less than the price of a coffee a day.
Right, right. Like if you get it at retail, it's $5 a day.
Mhm.
And if you get it at wholesale, it's, $3,
Three
three.
bucks, yeah,
Yeah,
super cheap.
so that's like a crappy cup of coffee.
It
I
is,
mean,
yeah. And imagine
that's
how much we all spend on other stuff, people who smoke or drink and, Starbucks coffees, creams, and all this stuff. And I mean, this is rejuvenating your skin. So instead of spending like hundreds or thousands on different cosmetic treatments, expensive lotions and potions that we all know don't really do anything, I mean, this is such a simple solution compared to that.
it's just short of it's to me it's miraculous. And last year, touting again, the company, they won the 2025 Most Innovative Stem Cell Award. Thousands of companies around the world were nominated, and LifeWave won.
Wow. That's really
Yeah.
significant. That's really amazing.
Yes, yes. And I don't know about you. I personally haven't, but I've had clients who have gone and had stem cell injections.
Yeah.
Some of them had miraculous results, and some of them, it nearly killed them.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Because I've had the stem cell injections as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
And I paid a lot of money. I traveled to Belgrade because it's very limited, the countries that you can use it in. Luckily,
yeah,
it went well for me, but it's a huge investment. And it's something you need
yeah.
to go back and do pretty much every year. It's not like a
Right,
one-off thing.
right, right,
So for me, I mean, this is much less painful because you're not sitting there, with injections, IVs, all that stuff,
yeah,
and much less, it's not invasive at all. And you don't have the
right,
expense and you don't have, I mean, I think with the stem cells, what people don't realize is that when you go to these stem cell clinics, most of the time you're not going to be using your own stem cells. Because I
right,
use my own stem cells because I had them banked since I was like 40 years old. So I was able to use my own stem
right,
cells. So I felt
right.
good about that. But I mean,
Yeah,
for me to go into clinic and and they use donor cells. Now, where did
right.
these donor cells come from?
Exactly.
What kind of jabs and stuff did the person who is donating these cells receive? And what's that going to do
100%.
to your body? So, I mean,
Yeah.
you're introducing a foreign substance into your body that's coming from another human. That to me is really
Right.
frightening.
And your body can basically in layman's term revolt and say
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
and I had clients that happened to, and they were so ill from it. And the that has come a long way. However, yeah, we don't know what you're actually getting.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Exactly. You go to these sometimes, people go to Mexico and stuff like that, questionable clinics. You don't know what you're getting. I mean, you're taking
yeah,
a chance with your health
yeah, yeah,
compared to something
yeah,
so simple
yeah,
as this. Kathleen, I
yeah.
know you had an amazing story with a horse that kicked
Oh
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can you
So
share that?
also we were, we had our people rescue place with our holistic clinic, and we also had a horse rescue
Yeah.
for 23 years. And so one night I went down to the barn, and long story short, I was by myself because everybody was up, the whole family was up watching a movie, and I said, I'll just run down and give the supplements, to the horses. And a piece of paper came through, hit the back of my big leader horse outside, and I happened to have my hand on his rump at the time. This paper went and hit the back of his legs, and he just like that, both back feet, bam, right under my belly button, and down on the ground I went. And you know, I have that uh, blood flow background.
Yeah.
So I knew how hard I'd been hit, and I thought he probably has hit my aorta, and I have about 90 seconds.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, so and I was, then I was in and out of consciousness, and so I prayed for my boys, and then I said, Lord, if this isn't my time, have my husband come to the window because our bedroom suite was faced the pastures in the barn. And he did. And he saw me on the ground. So anyway, made it obviously to the hospital. And I didn't nick my aorta, or I wouldn't be talking to you, but I did have significant internal trauma and bleeds of other blood vessels. And the result of that was a massive scar, like big around as my index finger, that went from one hip bone to the other and around to my right flank. And then
Wow.
a bunch of little scars went out on both sides of that. And as you know, Lynn, and for those that don't know that are listening, is scars are they're not conducive to the health of your body. They
Yeah.
block energy, they block blood flow, and they continue to propagate. They continue to grow and
Mm.
thicken, and you get the adhesions, and you hear of people that they need to have a bowel or a blood vessel, or it ends up. And we've seen, in the hospital when I used to do this, we saw a lot of correlation with that with cancer
Wow.
because of the lack of what energy and flow and
Yeah.
vitality to the area. So I knew it was really a big deal. And I had also been trained in a technique on how to unravel scars.
Hmm.
So I did that every morning, literally every morning before I got out of bed. And then I also, as we were sharing, we had really big, we had big guns
Hmm.
at our clinic to use. I use them every day,
Hmm.
nearly every day, or I would vary different ones. And it didn't budge. And I was 3 years into this, and getting pretty concerned, getting ready to. The only thing I hadn't done is you can get lidocaine
Yes,
injections
I've
that
done
help.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I was. This was in January, so it was in. Yeah, I had scheduled it for March to
Hmm.
get that because I knew I had to get three. I was 3 years in. I had to get some
Yeah.
movement
That's a
here.
long time.
Yeah, yeah. And so this is January, and that's when I got these patches.
Hmm.
And not thinking, Lynn, of anything to do with the scar. What I'm thinking of is, ooh, I might
Uh-huh.
that GHK copper, it might, I might find a little less wrinkles. I might look younger. And so I put this on every day, the just that one patch, and put it on the back of my neck, and then I'd rotate the next day, put it under my belly. And on day 10, I'm in bed, like I'd done for 3 years, doing my technique of scar unraveling, which didn't work at all, but I continued to do it. And that big rope was in chunks. It was broke up into chunks. So I flew out of bed and ran down and said, feel this, it's broke up. And he was like, wow. And on 2 days later, on day 12, it was completely gone. Like my whole ass.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So it had been introduced to me by one of our faculty members, Dr. Stillman.
Oh, I
And
love
so
Dr. Stillman. I've had
yeah,
him
I
on too. Yeah.
did you? Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
cool. So I called him and I'm like, you are not going to believe what I'm going to tell you, but it's true. And I said, I am gonna until there's something better, I'm gonna share this with the world and with anyone that will listen because I knew then that there was something way different about this. And of course, since then I've had, I have lists, we have lists and lists. Now my husband, he did not have that, quick fix thing. Now we both had increased energy, better sleep, all of those things, which I say lightly, like that's no big
No,
deal,
they're
but
really important.
they're really important. But everybody is looking for a miracle. People want that big story. And, I just had one. He wanted one.
Fair enough.
And yeah. So he, as a young man, was a marathon runner, and he had in the last probably 5 years terrible knee pain, and it got really bad where he really couldn't do much. And they said, "Well, it's bone on bone. You've got to have knee replacements." And he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not doing that." So it took a while. It was actually 6.5 months on the patches, but the knee pain went away. He has, and they'll tell you you can't grow cartilage back, but yes, you can.
Mhm.
And
You can.
he did. And he now bikes, when it's not heavy snow. He's riding his bicycle, 30, sometimes 50 miles a day.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing. Holy
that's
smoke.
amazing.
Kathleen, did he patch directly on the knee?
At first he did not, and then we talked to David, and he suggested a three patch combo. One was the X39. You could put it on the back of your neck or under the belly button, and then put the Eon patch. The Eon patch is an anti-inflammatory. So whenever there's any kind of disease, there's inflammation. And inflammation calls stem cells, but when it's chronic, it kills stem cells. So if
Mhm.
if the inflammation doesn't go down like it does with an acute thing,
Mhm.
an acute injury, but it's chronic, it's just there all the time. When you get that rush of those pluripotent stem cells to fix something, that inflammation will over time kill the stem cells.
So actually,
So
you would need to address the inflammation in order for the stem cells to be effective in your
if it's
body.
a chronic issue, yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
And so that he put the Eon patch on the inside of the knee, and then on the outside was glutathione,
Hmm.
which is our great antioxidant.
Yes.
And also it's suggested for a person who's going to try it to give the patch 1 month per decade of life. So at that time, my husband wasn't quite 70, and it took that time. It took
Hmm.
that amount of time for him to see, the big result anyway.
Hmm.
And yeah, now we're like, we'll never not be using this product. unless something, bigger and better comes along. Not necessarily bigger, but better comes along.
That's hard
So
to imagine.
it is. I
Yeah.
mean, it really is. Yeah.
My
It
parents, I don't know if
really
you've seen, I've done some posts with them. They're like 75 going on 76. And, they're doing like 20,000 steps a day and they're just in amazing health. And my dad was really sick like 7 years ago, like to the point where we didn't even know he was going to make it. And to come back from that, from losing like over 30 kilos, that's like 70 pounds or something, and to come back from that and to regrow his muscles and everything. So, since then I've been looking at everything, every way to support his health. And since I was introduced to the patches a year ago, they're just patching every single day. And
yeah.
and they're, every time I see them, because I don't see them, they live in Hungary, so they come and go. So I don't see them for like 2, 3 months at a time. And every time I see them, I'm like, damn, you guys are looking younger again. Damn, you guys. And they're looking younger and younger, which is
I know.
insane,
It's
like
wild, isn't
being
it?
over 75 and looking
Yeah.
younger all the time. And I
Yeah.
really see
Yeah.
it. Maybe you don't see it on yourself because you see yourself all the time.
Right.
But when it's somebody like that, and it's like, and even my dad said, my mom said, oh, dad was looking in the mirror and he's like, you know what? I'm looking younger. And now I'm trying the patches with my aunt who has Parkinson's.
Yeah.
So she's about 3, maybe 4 months in. Um, no big things to report yet, but she hasn't progressed. She hasn't gotten worse.
Yeah.
And mentally she seems to be improving, which is really good. My
Yeah.
cousin went over and they were playing like board games and stuff like that, which is huge. Obviously, you have to give it time, but yeah, I mean, some of the stories are just incredible.
I have stories now that
Okay, to
I
finish up, give
can't
us give
tell
us your
you.
best story.
Oh, oh boy.
Otherwise, I'll have you here till midnight.
Oh boy. Well, this one really has, yeah, I think I would have to say it's my biggest.
Mhm.
I met this woman who was by trade, a massage therapist, and she had an injury to her left arm, and it was completely paralyzed. Like she couldn't move it, or she'd have to pick it up to move it. And she, wasn't a great, eat. She didn't eat well. She didn't have practice good light hygiene. I mean, you name it. And she also, I think she was about 50. This, she used the patches, and it took about 7 or 8 months. And I was thinking, gosh, would I have continued? I don't know.
Mhm.
But she didn't have any results for 7 or 8 months. And it was seventh or eighth month, she started to be able to move her fingers.
Wow.
And then it was within 6, 8 weeks, she was with full use of her arm.
Wow. I have
Which is which is it's the regrowth of the nerves.
Yeah,
That's
which takes
that
time.
which takes time, and that's the thing. Like with my husband, the joint health, neurodegenerative, any kind of nerve damage, that takes time.
Yeah,
People, they'll try it for a month and they'll wait. Yeah, it didn't do anything. Like,
yeah. And I think
don't.
there's also like a priority order because you may
Yeah,
not know what's going on inside your body, but the stem cells will actually work to repair what's most important first. And
that's
maybe the
right.
knee is not a priority. Maybe your liver was a
Right.
bigger priority. And we don't see what's going on the inside, but
Maybe you need some new heart cells.
yeah,
Maybe you need some
exactly.
new brain
Yeah.
cells. Maybe
And obviously
you,
that will come first. That will take
yeah,
priority over knees.
yeah, yeah. Maybe there's some cancer going on that you don't even know about, and that's being fixed. And that's the biggest thing because, of course, we don't feel all this. It's like when the sun touches our skin, we're not feeling, the cholesterol being converted to vitamin D.
Yeah,
There's thousands of things occurring in our body, and we don't feel any of them.
exactly. Exactly.
So I literally beg people to give it time,
Yeah.
because the saddest thing for me is that a person tries it for a month, and then like, yeah, I didn't feel anything.
Hmm.
You've got to give it some time. And you're exactly right. The body knows the priority. The body is equipped. You give it the tools, it will fix what needs to be fixed in the order that it needs to be done in. It's
Yeah,
brilliant. I mean, it's
it
brilliant.
really is.
And my body knew we've got to take care of this scar right now. And that's what it did.
Absolutely amazing.
It truly is. I have one other story I'll tell you.
Yes, please do.
That this is my second. So a good friend of mine and a client had terrible sleep. Like she'd been an insomniac since she's probably 70 now, but this was a couple of years ago, and she had been an insomniac since she was preteen.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went to her house once and I saw these cases of NyQuil. And I'm like, what's this? You planning a big sickness coming on or something? Or what? And I'm laughing,
Yeah.
wondering, did you get a good price? She said, oh, well, that's how I sleep. I drink NyQuil to be able to sleep at all, 4 hours maybe. So which was just shocking to me. But so here she starts on the patches, and I pick up the phone one day. It's probably 3 or 4 months later, and she's crying. Well, I'm thinking, someone has died, something, happened, and I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? She said, I just woke up, and I slept for 9 hours. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, no, don't you remember? I have never slept more than 4 hours in my life.
That's incredible.
And so, yeah, there's of course a number of those. Just everything you can imagine.
And I know I like with even hair turning back to its natural color. I've heard
Oh, yeah.
stories like
Oh,
that.
yeah. I have, I won't bore you with the back of my hair.
Yeah.
It is, the whole underneath, it's all black again.
Wow. Seriously. Okay,
Yeah.
well, we're waiting for that too. I don't know,
Yeah.
because I'm my natural hair color is dark brown, so I don't know what I do
Yeah.
with it because I like being blonde. Then I'd have to bleach it because the white just blends in now. But still, it would be really exciting to see something like that. I know my
Oh
husband
yeah.
is super
I see that with almost everybody that their hair starts coming back.
interesting. And hair
Yeah.
loss stops, and
Yes.
people lose
Yes.
weight. And of course, sleep
Yeah.
is so important. Once you start sleeping well,
Yes.
everything else falls into place.
Hormonal dysregulation regulates yeah. I mean, I know I sound like some infomercial.
And you don't.
But
I mean, you have a
but
lot
I
of experience with this.
I can't help it. Because it's true.
Yeah.
It's true and an experience, and I will share it with anyone who will listen.
I love
It
your passion so much.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I would say to anybody that's hearing this, to get a hold of you and find out how to give it a go. What do you have to lose?
Yeah, exactly. I'll make sure to link everything below so people can find some more information and learn more. And of course, you guys can reach out to us anytime. Kathleen, speaking of which, where can people reach you if they want more information, if they want to get in contact with you, where can they find you?
Kathleen Horstmeyer, which is my last name, Horstmeyer, KathleenHorstmeyer.com, or quantumleapwellness.net.
Okay. I'll make sure to link those as well so they can. You're not very active on Instagram, right? No.
No. Truth be
Okay.
told, yeah, I saw social media as another psyop, so
Yeah, it's true. You're not wrong. But anyway, if you guys
I
are interested in quantum biology, then do check out the Institute of Applied Quantum Biology, where I
oh
became like 10
yes.
times smarter than I was before.
Whoa.
And then you'll have
Yes.
lots of contact with Kathleen, which
Yes.
was like an absolute pleasure for me as well.
Well, and you were a delight. I'm so honored to be here. And I am on Facebook now
Okay,
and LinkedIn. So,
fantastic.
and
Kathleen, thank you
coming on
so much.
Instagram.
Coming on Instagram. Yes,
Yeah.
can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got so much information to share, and I think people would love
Yeah.
this. They'd love to see you on
Yeah.
Instagram as well. But I
Oh,
agree
you're
about the
kind.
PSYOP. I totally agree.
Yeah,
I know what you
you're
mean.
you're sweet. Well, I do it isn't, I feel an obligation to get information out there and help as many people as I can.
You're such a good soul. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for being
Appreciate you
here.
so much. What an
You
honor.
too. Thank you. And thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you guys in the next one.